What's up, everybody? Tony from the Dude Network. We have Doobie from Doobie Smokehouse, and also with us tonight we have Lucas from Cook It Outside, and we're going to do some just dumbassery and barbecue round talk. What's up, guys? How we doing? This is a first, man. Two guests at once. I feel privileged to be with you guys.
It's exciting.
Yeah, man.
Lucas, man, what you been up to, man? Like, you been up to anything? Do anything pretty big here lately? Just like hang out with like Al Fragoni or
Yeah, man. I had a pretty kick-ass weekend a little while back, a couple weekends ago. We had the Texas Open Fire meetup there in Bernie, and Al Fragoni hosted it. Got to meet a lot of really awesome people. Got to cook a lot of kick-ass food. Definitely a learning experience for everyone, but I mean, it was badass. I'm not gonna lie. And Al is as sexy in person as he looks in his videos. Just gotta say that.
What was your favorite thing that everybody cooked that you got to eat there? What was the best thing that you had?
Dude, I mean, I don't know if y'all have ever had it, but it was a first for me. But out of everything that was there, the two weirdest things were my favorite. Weird for me, right? So the octopus that Mel with Dark Side of the Grill made was fantastic.
oh
Open fire grilled octopus. I mean, it was very, very good. But then the other thing, so we did cabritos, which is bottle fed goats, right? And we cooked those on the asada cross, like the meat cross, and they left the kidneys on. And so they took those kidneys and you kind of dice up them kidneys, and that was actually really good meat.
dang.
Yeah.
Anything like that, man.
Dude, that's when you like go to those and you're just like, man, I did not know nearly what I thought I knew. Like I thought I knew a lot, and you're like, damn.
That's
What did you
awesome.
walk away from with that thing? Like, man, I got to do that. Like, there's one thing I got to get, one thing I got to do. There's one cook I got to do. What was it?
Oh man, there was a lot. So I mean, I've never by myself done a whole alligator, a whole rattlesnake, a whole pig, a whole goat. I've never done that on my own. So I feel like now I kind of feel a little more confident. Now I just got to get one of those meat crosses because that really seems like the way to go.
Doobie, you ever had goat?
I haven't. I know one of my buddies in the South Valley up in Albuquerque. He used to breed goats, and he had a couple people that would come buy them from him from time to time, and they would cook them up. So I know that it's a popular item for sure, but I haven't had the chance to try it yet.
When my wife and I went down to Jamaica, they had like all you can eat buffet at the Sandals resorts, and like they had goat curry like on every buffet line, and I just like started eating it, and it just like it was delicious. Like I loved it. Like I think American culture is like one of the only ones that doesn't really look at goat as like a reliable, like you're looked down on if you eat goat meat. You know what I mean? Like you're so poor you have to eat goat. Like I think like we're the only culture that like looks at it like that.
I don't know if it's as much as like a you're so poor you eat goat as much as we look
Maybe it
at
was
more
just
pets than food, and everybody's like real. We gotta protect the animals, like the whole vegan movement.
I don't know. I grew up with some asshole cousins, so maybe that's just what they convinced me as a kid. I was gullible. I would probably have believed anything. Like, ew, you eat goat, you poor bastard. Like,
Yeah. Seeing in South Texas, it's a little different now. The further south you go, it's more common. I mean, quite a few people cook them in the ground. Whole
oh
goat, you
man,
pretty
that'd be
much
cool.
cook it in the ground with the coals on top. And I mean that's like I mean, same way as doing like barbacoa, right? The whole cow head in the ground. The goat is actually pretty popular the further south you go.
Have you ever
Yeah.
done the dig a hole in the ground cook yourself?
I okay, so I have done it, but I didn't dig a hole, right? I actually buried a piece of pipe down into the ground and we cover it with a plate. Yeah, we've
That's
cooked
smart.
like that. Yeah, so like you take a pipe, right? Like say you got like your can and you cut it long ways, like a trough, and you bury it down into the ground. That way, it's just something hard.
All
A
right.
lot of people will make concrete. I didn't feel like pouring concrete, and I had pipe. So
Like, I mean, at that point, it's like, damn, just build the pit.
yeah, right. Well, you don't have to weld to cut a pipe in half. I
Uh,
cannot weld. I can cut.
Yeah, I can't do either, man. That's a service. I'd be like walking around like this, man. Like, what I say. I saw, is that Natty Light down there? Natty Daddy.
Always natty.
Oh man, what are you drinking up there, Doobie?
Oh man, I got a Jack and Coke now, but I got a couple beers.
What do you got? What kind of beer are you drinking?
Man, I found these beers at Whole Foods the other day. One's cookie dough stout, and the other one is like a cream soda ale. It's pretty good.
How did that turn out? Was it good?
It's pretty good, man. I drank 2 the first night I got them, and they were pretty tasty.
I'm not a stout guy. Just not a stout guy.
I am, man, especially in the winter.
Nectar of the gods here, and then we have, we have some water we could get into. I mean, you saw nothing.
That water got me thirsty, man.
Oh, at the end of it, we might have to take a little snort off of that one there. That's actually the peach brandy. That's what I'm
Oh
talking
man.
Oh yeah. With like fresh squeezed peaches, not like puree. Like I spent like 12 hours peeling and squashing peaches. I was so over the smell of fresh. I ate like 50 peaches that day. It was pretty good. But hey, so what's your guys' next cook? Like what are we doing? Like everybody always knows like what they're going to do next. I love it in the community. Like the barbecue community, it's always like, what's your next big cook? Lucas, what are you doing?
So tomorrow I actually am gonna cook more wings than I've ever cooked in my life. I think I got six packs, 14 wings. We're gonna split them into drums and flats, so it's a lot. It's like 140 or 150 or more like individual pieces, right? So it's a lot of wings. Gonna do 8 different flavors.
Like why?
So it's actually our family Christmas, right? So I had to go work Christmas Eve and Christmas, and so they kind of did like little Christmas stuff while I was gone. But now that I'm back, they're like, "Well, what are you cooking?" And I'm like, "What's cheap?"
Are you grilling?
Then I was like, "Let's do wings," and wings are not cheap anymore, man. They're not cheap. Thanks a lot, TikTok.
Yeah, the wing prices doubled. You smoking them or grilling the wings?
I'm actually, because it's so many, I'm gonna do them on the offset.
Nice.
I'm just gonna try to run a little higher temp than I normally would since it's so many. I'll have a couple hours to do it, but.
So now are you like all of us, like whenever like, all right, I bet I could probably squeeze like 4 or 5 videos off that cook tomorrow.
Yeah, probably. I'm gonna try to do that.
Just do what I did the other day. Just take like a bunch of footage of smoke rolling and just montage it and put a badass song over it and call it a day.
Yeah, definitely.
It's always a win for sure.
For the win.
Yeah.
Doobie, what are you doing next?
Bacon tomorrow. I'm gonna smoke half a pork belly. I've had it curing in the fridge, so I'm excited to get that on the smoker tomorrow. Maybe
now,
do a BBQ.
Do you have a meat slicer?
No, I like to after I let it rest and stuff like that and cool off a little bit, I'll throw it in the freezer to get it real hard and then just use my brisket slicer to get a thin slice with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully your bacon turned out better than my salty ass bacon. Oh my God. I gotta live off like soup beans all winter just so I get it ate up, man. It's terrible.
Hey, I do give you props for at least trying, man, because I've never smoked bacon ever.
I mean, I got it now. I mean, I made a simple mistake. I didn't rinse all the salt off before I smoked it, and it just cooked down into the meat. So I feel like next time, with that, I'm just going to go hopefully have my cousin help me walk through it. That does like high level charcuterie. I'm pretty sure he can help me show me the basics of bacon curing. Like I'm one of them guys. Like I don't know how you guys are, but like I gotta mess it up once. And I'm very rarely make like the same mistake twice. Like I'll mess up something else, but like so like I can sit and watch all the videos in the world, but really I just wing it. And like my wife always gives me hell for winging stuff, but it's like that's how I have to learn. Like I gotta just lose and assess what the hell happened.
I think that's one of the best ways to learn new stuff, man. Just give it a good, honest try the first go around, and then you're like, okay, where did I mess it up? Like, what was wrong with it? And then tweak it from there if you have to, man.
Right. Which is that about the same with you, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, I've messed up a lot. Especially whenever I get new pits that I've never used, the best way to figure it out is just to burn something.
Yeah, but we don't start out with. There's a reason you don't start out a new pit with like a brisket. You start out
Yeah,
with
definitely
like
not.
leg quarters.
Yeah, like chicken legs. Yeah, that's a good one to start with, man. That's a good way to figure out temps on a new pit would be the legs.
That's
Yeah.
funny. Hey, so Doobie's out of New Mexico, folks. I'm out of Ohio, and Lucas is out of Texas. Let's go around the block here and rattle off some meat prices to show off the difference in the nation. This is actually kind of fun, I think. What is your pulled pork? Lucas, what's your Boston butt price per pound you can find right now?
Like bone-in shoulder on a pork butt right now. I mean, you're looking at anywhere from smaller market, you can maybe get it for less than $2, but anywhere else it'll be like $2.20, $2.25 a pound.
What do you do?
Which is double what it used to be, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That's way better than what it is here in New Mexico, bro. Here in Las Cruces, I want to say last time I bought shoulders, it was $3.40 a pound. It was like you might as well buy some briskets, man.
They're only a few dollars off from the brisket at that point.
You're going to be operating a barbecue company, and everyone's going to be like, "What's your brisket?" You're going to be like, "$180." What's your pulled pork? $2.25. Like,
oh man, it's ridiculous. The prices.
I scored a good score on some a while back. There was a big sale. My local market, they'll do like one crazy super cheap pork item a week, like a get you in the door item, and they were selling like 2 packs of like 8-pound butts for like $1.49 a pound. So I loaded up then, and then yeah. So okay, so now let's talk a baby back ribs. What's the cheapest rack of baby back ribs you can get, Lucas?
Man, for the whole rack, baby backs are higher. I usually buy the St. Louis cut. It's cheaper down here, which is getting closer to kind of like a competition cut. Man, like an average size rack, I don't know exactly per pound, but you're looking at where it used to be like $9. It's like almost $20 now for a rack of pork ribs.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about like a trimmed up, not trimmed all the way down, but pretty trimmed up rack.
Okay.
You can see my if you go look at my page, I used to post ribs all the time, and now it's like I might as well just buy a steak,
Yeah. No.
Like even spare ribs are getting up there in price. Like you can go to Sam's Club here where I'm at, Las Cruces, and I think you get a 2-pack. It comes vacuum sealed together and all that. You get 2 of them, and it's $40-$50 for 2 racks of spare ribs. And that's not even trimmed or anything, like.
Yeah, that's not even.
And crazy. Baby backs, I want to say, I don't know. They used to come in 3-packs. I want to say those are coming in 2-packs too now, and those are like $50-$60. I mean, you're paying out for some ribs. So.
Yeah, I mean ours. I was cleaning up there and buying the smaller vacuum sealed baby backs for like $10. I was even finding the real small ones for like $9.50 there for a while, and then they're still like, now they went all the way up to $20. They doubled. But now the other day I went back, our spare rib prices are coming back down because I was able to buy like 2 racks of spare ribs for like $20 vacuum sealed. So that's man, good. Like you guys are making me feel better. I thought I was paying out the ass, but I know brisket. Up here, like brisket, like a small brisket at Walmart right now is like still like $70. Like, I mean, it's just a waste. Like, I'm just like, man, I just can't justify that.
Yeah, we're to the point that like you go buy hamburger meat, even we're almost paying like $4 a pound for like at the market. I'm not even talking about a grocery store. Like at the market, it's like $3.89 a pound, and that's like if you buy 5 pounds or more. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's just hamburger meat. A brisket right now, the cheapest I've seen a brisket was like $5 something a pound, and that's like not trimmed at all, you know. So by the time you trim it up and actually get the real price, you're talking about like $7 a pound for a brisket. I mean, it's at least.
Well, then not to mention your cooked weight is like almost half of what it is by the time, like if you get a 17-pound brisket, by the time you trim it up to where it looks nice and you get a lot of the stuff you don't want off of it and all the fat and whatnot, and then you cook it, you have probably like an 8-pound brisket, 9-pound brisket if you're lucky. Like the yield on a brisket, like if you're paying $4 or $5 a pound, the cost of the cooked product is probably looking more like $10 a pound, you know, and that's the reality, because you might get that 15, 16-pound brisket to start, but if you're only left with like 8 or 9 pounds of it, I mean, it's double, you know, so.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it that far through that. Yeah, if you're talking about like trying to feed like a group, like as far as like catering stuff, brisket really is not the way to go right now, man.
No, not unless you're feeding like somebody who has an unlimited budget.
I mean, but I think it's like okay to just like hit them between the eyes though, and just be like, hey, like it is what it is. Like if you think about it, if you can switch your people to like pulled pork, really you're just going to save yourself on some cook time, right?
Well, I mean, pulled pork, I feel like with pulled pork, you get a little bit better yield for sure than brisket, but you still do lose a lot of weight when you cook it. I mean, instead of being like half, it's probably more of like a 30 to 40% range on the high end, but you still get a pretty good yield out of it compared to like what you're paying on a brisket. But with pulled pork, where I'm at, being like $3.40 a pound, sometimes on the high end, it's, you might, I mean, you throw out that offer brisket because it's not that much of a difference, you know, as far as the cost.
I mean, unfortunately, like as the saying goes, shit rolls downhill. I mean, in this situation, like it rolls downhill to the customer. Like if you want it, like I can't help it. The cost of stuff I have to work with is this. Like,
when as a barbecue person, you got to factor in like, okay, not only is the meat prices up right now, but you're talking it's wintertime, man. Everybody's already buying all their firewood and this and that. If you don't have a good wood stock right now, this is the best time of year to try to go buy some, you know, and you're going to pay top dollar for whatever wood you buy around this time of year too, man. So like if you're running low and you got to buy wood, you got to factor in wood costs when you're cooking for, if you're trying to sell it anyway, you got to factor in your cost of wood, the cost of meat. If you're putting it in to-go containers, man, all that stuff adds up little by little.
Right.
Man. I mean, one thing leads to another. So with meat prices, I will say the one meat that I haven't seen skyrocket in price since COVID is the pork brisket bones or the rib tips, you know, the tips of the spare ribs they cut off. And then it's like they have the St. Louis, they get the tips. Those have been pretty consistent throughout the whole pandemic as far as the price. You can get a pack of them for like $5, $12, depending on how big it is, but it's cheap all the time.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? I was kind of like telling you guys about this, and really, I'm just going to say it. Like, I wanted to talk about it. Like, I'm kind of like, I feel like barbecue's like losing its true definition of what barbecue is because of all the TikTok and Instagram, because it's just become like a one-up shit show. Like everyone's just like, I mean, I'm guilty of it. I mean, we're all guilty of like, we're all trying to come up with like that next big thing that goes viral, you know, like, oh my God, did you see what, you know, Cook It Outside did? You see what Doobie did? Like all the chicken fried brisket on a biscuit, you know, like, you know, and you're down there with your
That
disc.
was money, though.
That was money. I mean, let's all get it. I mean,
that was money, bro.
We've all
that
done some pretty.
I thought that was going to go. That didn't go, man. I was like waiting for that one to pop after I posted it.
Oh man, it's.
But tough. You know, I feel like looking back on that video now, compared to some of my more recent reels, I feel like there might be a new and improved, upgraded chicken
part 2. Is that a hint or breaking news?
I feel like with 2022, a lot of good things are coming, man. You know, I feel like I deserve, like that post deserves a redo 100%.
I agree. When you got an idea like that, like I'm probably going to redo the chicken lollipops, but add like a lot more stuff and like smother them in gravy or something like that.
That sounds good.
Yeah. But what I was saying is like, I feel like the true definition of barbecue is like barbecue came into play for people that didn't really have a lot of money and they wanted to feed the masses like on a budget. And it was just like, hey, let's just throw a bunch of burgers and hot dogs on like a open fire. And that's called a barbecue. Like, come over for the barbecue. We're doing burgers and hot dogs. And it was all about like getting together and like feeding people cheaply and having like a day of it. You know what I mean? Like people used to get together and like get the whole block together for these barbecues. And now it's like all about $6, base brisket and people doing Wagyu this and like, and I don't know. Like, am I the only one that's like in that boat? Am I crazy, or am I just like making a big deal out of nothing? And I'm like out here like lonely island boy. I'm an island boy.
I see a lot of people, and I will say that like when it comes to steaks and like prime rib or things like that, I noticed a big difference between like choice and prime and Wagyu and all that stuff. But when you're smoking something for anywhere from 10, like if you're doing 225, you might be smoking a brisket for 16 hours. I've had to smoke like a 20 plus pound brisket for like 20 hours, 22 hours before if you're doing like 225. I feel like if you're cooking something that long, I'm sure Wagyu helps, but I don't think you really need it. Like I've cooked some choice briskets that have come out better than any prime brisket that I've ever bought, and not every choice brisket comes out that good, but if you have good technique and you know your way around what you're doing well enough to be consistent with it, I feel like you can make a choice brisket taste awesome all day long. I don't like to buy select briskets. That's like where I draw the line. I won't buy a select, but choice and up, I'm cool with. Like me, myself, I haven't purchased a Wagyu brisket yet. To me, it's tough. I'm sure it's amazing. And I'm sure one day I'm going to cook a couple of them one day. But I mean, to pay that much for one brisket, and then you notice most of them, the biggest you can get, if you're lucky, is like a 16 pounder. Like it's not like you can get a big old 20 pounder. You cook that sucker down, you paid like $200 for like 8 pounds of brisket. And I don't know. Is that worth it for me? I'm sure it's going to be awesome. I'm sure it's going to be great.
I will add this in there, right? So I think I've told y'all before. So I've had Wagyu like twice in my life. Once was hot dogs, beef hot dogs, Wagyu. I mean, they were awesome, right? And then I've had it in thanks to Misty, the Seattle butcher's wife brought some Wagyu ground beef, and she made like the like where you wrap it with the bacon weave and everything, hamburger meat with the cheese inside of the pepper in the middle.
Oh, the really armadillo leg.
But I'm with Doobie, man. I'm not gonna go buy a Wagyu brisket. Now, if you want to give me one, I'll cook it all day long, and it's probably kick ass. But for me and for feeding my family, which 98% of what I cook and post with is I'm just feeding my family, man. And I'm not gonna go spend $200 for a brisket that I can get for $70, and it'd be pretty much, you're not gonna tell. I'm no brisket king, right? So you're not gonna see the difference on my pit,
And on that note, anybody listening that has access to that, please feel free to prove us wrong by giving us all a free Wagyu brisket. We'll gladly go buy a choice and do a side-by-side comparison for you.
Man, I'll go buy a prime. Do a side-by-side.
I'll buy a prime. Yeah, you give me a Wagyu, I'll buy a prime.
Nope. Choice. No. I'm done. The buck stops here, boys. If I'm paying $70, man, like the only way I'm justifying that is getting a free Wagyu, man.
I will say, do your homework, because I've gotten lucky enough. There's been a couple times where I've gone to like every grocery store in town, and the bin where the briskets are says $4.40 a pound, but if you pick up the briskets, they're not always listed that way. Like a couple weeks ago, I went into Walmart and I was like, oh man, it says $4.40 a pound. I'm looking at them and it's choice. And I'm like, all right, let's take a closer look. Let's see if any of them look like they're worth buying. And I'm looking and it's like, oh, $40 a brisket. And it's like they had it marked on the bag as $2.70 a pound. And I'm like, this is the best price I've seen in a long time. I'm filling up the grocery cart.
He sends hey, Doobie, Lucas. He sends me a picture. He had so much brisket, he had to put the seatbelt on the seat so the dinger would stop going off.
Yeah, true story, man. That was a good day.
I've been there, man. I've been there, but it's usually not brisket. It's usually like 30 packs of natty for me, man. They'll set that dinger off.
Yeah, the 30. You're like trying to chug 10 on the way home. No, I'm joking. We don't do that, folks. We
don't do that.
No,
only on the show. Only on the show.
Yeah, but no, yeah, man, it's crazy. I know. I got have you guys ever had like a whole animal butchered?
No.
Yeah.
I've got like a quarter of a cow before, but that's about the extent of it. You know, I've done them on Tanza here in Las Cruces, and that's where you go to whoever's house and they kill a pig there, and then everybody kind of butchers it there on the spot. And everybody, one guy gets like the hams, one guy gets all the chicharrones, one guy gets the pork belly. Everybody kind of goes every which way and starts cooking in every corner of the yard and meet up when everything's done with a bunch of chili and throw down. You know,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for the invite, man.
Yeah, right. Damn.
Hey, man. Next time I do one, you guys.
You know, there's reasons that people get $4.40 a pound pulled pork with stories like that. You know.
Hey, man, come to New Mexico. We'll treat you good.
No, like I got a whole hog coming next month, and I don't know what to do. Like normally, I would be like, I want to get kielbasi, and then I'll get like my bacon. But now that I'm like smoking all this stuff, it's like, now do I just get my ribs, my loins? Do I get everything just cut out and separated, and just like the rest in sausage? Like, man, it's like gonna be like
you know how big it is?
It's gonna be about a 300 pounder.
Yeah, so
I mean before dressed, and I might get lucky. It might be like 325, 350. I don't know. Like basically, my buddy got a kill date, and like you kept here, like you're waiting a year to get one. So he's just like, dude, we're just gonna buy them at the auction the day before. Hopefully, we get a good price. And I'm like, ugh. Like, all right, send it. But like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know if I want to get the specialty stuff made or if I just want to like get like all the cuts back for like big smokes throughout the year. And like, it probably wouldn't be all that much, but I don't know. What do you guys think? I can do this place does like a banging Cajun andouille sausage, like all kinds of flavored brats and Italian sausage, like, but they all come with a minimum. You got to do like a 20-pound minimum order on it. I don't know.
For me, that would just depend on the price. Cause I mean, I can make my own sausage. I don't make Italian sausage, but I mean, if you want to invite me over, we can make a lot of sausage. We can make a couple 100 pounds of sausage. You know what I mean?
Dude, I got enough United lines. I think I can get you guys both up here for free on United lines.
Yeah. I'll bring the natty.
I'm there, man.
All right.
I'll just mail you my grinder and my stuffer and everything and a bunch of tubs. I'll just send it all FedEx, and then I'll just, you pay for my plane ticket.
Hey, I was just telling Doobie, man, earlier, I was getting all this lined up here. I was like, man, as soon as the Dude Network can get everybody in, I'm flying everyone in, and it's going to be big. Like, I'm pissing off all the neighbors. What little ones that still like me, which probably like, I don't even know if that's a thing. But we're gonna give them a damn reason to hate me. I'll just leave it at that.
I mean, bro, if it's gonna be that big, I mean, I'll drive up there and bring the smoker with me.
Oh man,
we'll smoke out the whole neighborhood, man.
Well, I can make it to your house pretty cheap, but I can't make it all the way to Tony's house.
No, that's a poke, man. If you
get to use those miles to come out this way, bro, we could do something epic.
Right, as I'm sitting there at 35-degree weather, like Las Cruces, New Mexico, doesn't sound like such a shitty idea.
Hey, mid-50s all week. It might be in the 60s next week. So
that sounds like tropical heat wave for what we're looking at up here.
I mean, it's windy and dusty here. You can't go outside without tasting a little bit of dirt.
I don't know about that. I don't know about all that.
It's dusty. I mean, it's Las Cruces is like a dust bowl too. There's hills all around us, and we're kind of at the bottom of it. So when it's really windy, and you're driving, like if you're going down Highway 70, it's like a hill going into town, and you can just look, and everything looks like a big old bowl just of dirt flying around. Like it's just a sea of brown that you're driving into.
No, not up here, man. We have luscious green trees and rolling hills, and we got hickory, we got oak, we got everything except for pecan and mesquite. Really, I mean that's only two
literally
trees.
in my backyard.
I know, and it's
have
like
in
I
my
know we need
backyard.
to. If there was less gap, man, I would totally drive for a wood swap. Like I would totally do. Like I'll give you some oak and hickory for some of your mesquite and pecan.
No, I want hickory and cherry, and I'll trade pecan and mesquite.
Yeah, I can bring you some down that sugar maple.
Oh yeah, the maple. So maple, right? So I didn't know anything about even burning maple wood until a little while back. It's different.
In a good
What's the
way, right?
flavor on that? Is it sweet? Is it savory? What is that?
So my buddy, right? We were pretty intoxicated by the end of that cook, but
It happens.
when we threw the last pretty good chunk of that maple in the firebox, we were using the big offset, right? He went and stood next to a stack, and he's like, I gotta figure out what this smell is. And he's like, I can taste it. He's like, I can taste the maple in the smoke. And so I went and stood there, right? He's not lying. The smoke tastes sweet. Like just midair smoke coming out the pit tastes sweet. It's crazy. That was the best pork butts I've ever made in my life. Pork shoulders.
So, like,
Gary Maple. Don't tell my Texas friends.
I mean, it's on Spotify, Apple. It's going to be like worldwide now. So
That's fine. I'm good with that.
yeah,
No, man.
Hey,
it was life changing.
live. I just got done saying like how you got to be the next biggest and baddest thing, man. So if I do it, I want it. So like, basically, if I do any KCBS stuff this year, like, and I do like the chicken thighs, like I've decided that I want to master chicken thighs. Like I feel like that's a good safe category to dabble into and just be like a bitch to everybody else in their categories. It's like, yo, like I'll mop your ribs, whatever, like I'll be your little fire guy, but like don't fuck with me when I'm doing my chicken thighs. Like but I wonder if I could just like smoke them in some maple sugar maple, man. Like that would be like a flavor profile that probably not many people are going to bring to the table. Judges would probably be like, get this sweet ass chicken out of my face.
I mean, if you hit it with like a vinegar based mop, I mean, you're probably good.
Yeah, I mean, they do say you have to kind of cater to the flavor profiles that the judges are looking for with competitions. You know?
I hate that though. I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's like playing sports. Like sometimes you got to play a strategy that you hate. Like sometimes you got to play defense when you really just want to score points. You know, I mean, you got to do what you got to do to win. I mean, so if you got to stroke the egos and the taste buds, then let's roll. That's why you got your home kitchen to do what you want. Hey, I know like we're going here a little bit long here. Last question here before we end it. Goals. What are we doing here big in 2022, guys? I mean, what like do you have like something you want to master that you have no idea what you're doing, that you've never done it, but it's on your checklist? Like Lucas, what you got?
Yeah, so as far as for 2022, I actually do plan to travel quite a bit. There's going to be some different meetups and cooks that I'm hoping to be off work for, but so I know I'm going to California at least once. Maybe might have something even in Georgia, and then a couple other places. I'll keep it at that, but there's going to be some cool stuff, man. I just want to see how far I can take this. You know, I mean, I love to cook, love doing it, love trying new things. Never really traveled, and I never would have thought that food would be what would give me the opportunity to do that, man.
Isn't that nuts? Dude, like it's been wild watching all you guys, man. Like it's just like we're all like a year into this thing, and like Lucas, like you've definitely like separated yourself from a lot of the group, man. You're killing it, and I'm the same way. I mean, we all are, but like you are like dude, like the crazy, like the opportunity with Blazing Stars massive. The Alfregoni thing was crazy. Like, dude, like your goals are like realistic, man. Like, man, like it's just not to like stroke you off or anything, man, but I'm loving watching it grow. Like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
no,
Hey,
it's
this
fun,
is
dude.
this isn't
But
FCC,
yeah,
by the
well,
way.
I will say this, bro. So one of the biggest things that's helped me has been my friends that I've made along the way. I've had a really good support system, man. The barbecue family, the barbecue community, from the person with 5 followers to the person with 500,000 followers. Everybody's cool as hell, man. I mean, it's no one's ever told me leave me alone whenever I ask a question. Nobody's ever turned me away. Sometimes they just don't respond, but it is what it is. But that's it's just the support that I've gotten along the way has meant a lot to me. And my goal is the further that I go, I don't want to forget where I came from either. I'm going to try to find ways to give back to people that are maybe didn't get the break that I got, or that are just starting off like me. I mean, I've only been posting on social media with cooking for what, like 8 months, and so I mean, it's intimidating. I was intimidated when I started. I remember the first time I ever went live was with you, and I was like, dude, what am I gonna say? I have no idea. It's gonna be I was so scared, and now it's just like another day.
It is
And so,
crazy.
but
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's been awesome. The friendships and everything, no matter where we go, hopefully it stays for real at least.
Well, that's what I've loved about the barbecue community, and I mean, dude, you can back me up on this. Is like, I mean, there's a couple wild asses, like, I mean, but you're gonna have that in any crowd. But I think overall, like 99.9% of the people are like just blue collar, genuine people like us that just they're on the internet, like escaping from all this, like like all the COVID stuff that's been going on the last couple of years, like and then there's people that have just they hate their jobs, man. Like, they're just going through God knows what in life. They're like going to social media for like barbecue and like only barbecue. So like everyone's like super friendly and like super supportive. But yeah, like I know I've made some of my best friends, man. Like right now, like I'm sitting hanging out with two of my best friends, like in New Mexico and Texas, while I'm sitting up here in like Denison, Ohio, for Christ's sake. Like like what a world. And like I love it. Like it's become like weird. Like I probably talk to you guys and like through like FaceTime, like I probably hang out with you guys like just as much as anybody else. It's like it's crazy. And like I love it. It's amazing. Like I've learned so much about like the world of like cooking and like all the different regions and stuff. Like it's been sweet. Doobie, what are you trying to what are you trying to knock out next year, man? Like anything you want to master, learn, accomplish? Like let's speak it into existence.
I'm hoping to maybe get a food truck. I got the smoker coming in 3 weeks, so I'm super excited for that, man. It's like I'm counting down the days at this point. I got my trip all planned out. I'm gonna leave here on a Wednesday morning. Hopefully pick up my smoker by Friday morning and then be home by Sunday, firing that sucker up with some briskets, man.
Oh, man.
I mean, I got it planned out. I got my first gig at High and Dry Brewing in Albuquerque. That's going to be February 12th. I mean, that's going to be an exciting gig right there. That's like one of the first places I got to sell barbecue at in Albuquerque, with one of my friends over at Artisan Valley Smokehouse. And now I'm going to be selling barbecue solo with Doobie Smokehouse, man. I can't be more excited, man. I'm going to have my smoker.
I know.
I have all kinds of new stuff coming my way come 2022, man. Like, I can't wait to see what next year brings.
Man, I'm sitting here like thinking like, well, I want to learn how to dry age meat and charcuterie, but all right, let's go to Pivot, man. Like, I don't know. On the Dude Network, I don't really have any idea. Like, it's so, like, I know, like, it could change overnight if something pops off and goes stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I'm one more beer can catch with my freaking teeth away from maybe getting to like 3 million people wanting to knock on the door. I don't know. I just think I just want to just. Like my goal is like I want to like have to where like every platform has like a massive following where there's a distinguished like The website's up and running. Like, I just want the brand to be like a brand. I want it to be taken seriously as a brand. I'll leave it at that. Like, it probably already is by some, but like, you know what I mean? Like on a large scale.
You'll get there, man. You're not far from it, if you ask me. I mean, there's quite a few people that know what it is.
Well, I mean, I'm glad to hear that. It's going to make me blush, but that might be the Bush Latte speaking too. But but no, hey, seriously, man. Like, we're all there. Like, I love it, and there's so many people around us, and it's just we all just got to help each other, man. Let's all lean on me. Well, I'm not so.
Oh,
I'll
man.
be
Talk to you back.
I don't remember all the words.
Are we still recording?
Yeah, unfortunately. I think my microphone stopped working now. Can you hear me?
Oh, man.
Hey, you guys are the absolute best, man. I'm glad we got this together. I know this is like the first time 3-way, so there's like some communication flow we'll get better at as time goes on here. But, hey, hell of a first effort, boys. Hell of a first effort. I like it. Teamwork makes that dream work. I love it.
All day.
All right. Well, hey. Cheers.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Tony from Dude Network, Lucas from Cooking Outside, and Doobie from Doobie Smokehouse. Until next time, everybody, dudes and dudettes. Yeehaw! I don't even know, but later.